by 1. We saw Rek'Sai before, Ferric Smithy. At least the other one you mentioned is certainly open. We'll see what CLG want to take first here, but a lot of the other picks they, didn't want to leave open in game 1. They've actually now left over to TSM. I think Zed maybe sticks out.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of other power picks as well.
So now my question is this going to be a top lane first pick? Echo and Maokai are both up, so those people are pretty happy to play both sides of that. So I don't know if that's going to be the focus. The Lucian that you mentioned, maybe they... Whoa! With the Elise up? Interesting.
Yeah, they take first pick Rek'Sai. A lot of priority on the jungle there. But TSM probably happy to have other jungle picks available. I think banning Kindred, they knew, okay, they're probably going to take a jungler away. Maybe not the one they expected. But we'll see what they take here. Lucian definitely jumps out, but TSM have 2 strong picks to make here with CLG reacting very heavily to the first game's loss.
Yeah. All right, well, even hovering over the Gragasphere instead of Elise, so maybe she does not even show up in the game. But that Maokai we talked about, definitely going to be big for TSM. They like to play around team fighting. Maokai, great team. Oh, just kidding. Could be a mid lane Echo. It's still a possibility of Maokai coming through.
Echo and Lucian, though, are the picks. So swapping them up from the tanks they hovered and straight back into more of their solo laners here. I think Doublelift should be back on the Lucian after having a player of the game performance on it. But Haunter is going to mix things up, or like you said, potentially flex that over to Bjergsen. We'll see what CLG want to answer here with picks 2 and 3.
Very interesting, because if CLG take it, like we talked about a little bit before, the other benefit of the sort of mid-game Spike Lucian build with the Black Cleaver, you shred armor really well on the front line. So he can stack up Black Cleaver on the CLG front line pretty quickly. I think Smithy's going to go full tank Rek'Sai, so I don't know if they're going to have enough damage if they want to go another full tank, unless Smithy decides to alter his build and actually throw in something like the Titanic Hydra or the Black Cleaver into his own build. But as far as Smithy goes, when he gets this champion, he's one of those Cinderhole junglers that will just commit to full tank and be the front line for the team, open up Darshan to be a damage-dealing champion from the top lane.
Ooh.
Hopefully for them, try and get some split push threat going.
Last minute swap back there from CLG. 6A will take Ezreal again, but Aphromoo going to go away from the Nami this time. Had the Braum, thought about it, and then just at the last second switched over to Bard, a big playmaking champion, maybe one that CLG can be a bit more proactive on, perhaps.
Yeah, people were banning Bard against Aphromoo. Top tier teams in the rest of the world were very scared of it, and it definitely opens up a lot of playmaking for CLG, especially if they can open up the map. Bard's so good at picking people off. There she is.
Yep, TSM do the obvious thing. They'll take Elise, they'll take Braum, and really showing nothing here. Still have the flex pick in that solo lane as well, so TSM have plenty of options to work with. CLG gonna have to show the rest of their comp here, so TSM gonna get a counter pick either mid lane or top.
Yeah.
Probably mid lane if I had to guess, but you never know.
I like this from TSM. You're threatening an assassin in the mid lane, so you make who he second guess himself. Bjergsen on an assassin, even if it is Echo melee champion who would have to worry about jungle pressure. Still very threatening. Going to make you second guess yourself. You don't want Bjergsen, especially after the performance he had on Zilean. If he can do that with Zilean, what can he do with a full AP Echo? So definitely a threatening flex pick here from TSM. They're holding on to, and CLG are just going to have to stand up and blind pick it.
10 seconds left or so for CLG to finish out this draft. What does Coach Zix have in mind? Because they need to finish off this draft. A very late pick for CLG, and Darshan goes back. Fiora, Vladimir are the
Not only the Vladimir, that's extremely strong right now, and we've seen a lot of bans across the world with the champion. Because not only with the rework, but also the addition of the Proto belt enables him to have more mobility. But man, the Fiora lock-in as well. People have been saying, there's been whispers of Fiora's kind of back here with some decent top lane nerfs. And we'll see Darshan's Fiora once again. It was a terror back in the last bit before Fiora got her round of nerfs.
Yep. Good to see her back though. Again, another season. Always interesting to see what champions make their way back around.
Yeah, also funny how CLG, we talked about, at MSI, they showed a lot more versatility in their team fight style that they had been playing, and they've been playing tanks, and people were like, oh my goodness, they're not playing split push anymore. They're not playing
back to split push.
So much on the, on the lane sauce. But yeah, back to split push here. They're going to have back-to-back games. We'll see if Darshan has better luck on this one, and it is going to be, once again, Victor showing up here. This time it's going to be in the hands of Bjergsen. Hunter will take the top lane Echo. I don't think Echo's going to have too hard of a time with the Fiora. We'll see, though, because Fiora, if she gets some outplays early on the top lane, That can really snowball a lane.
Definitely a lot of telegraph CC on the top half of the map from TSM.
Can't QSS or ultimate off anymore.
That's true.
So,
Dashan, so happy.
one of the big things, yeah, why she's coming back.
Makes some sense there. Dirksen, though, like you mentioned, will take the victor. So going to take this into Huhi this time. He's got Vladimir, very exciting new champion we've started to see kind of make the rounds in this new patch. We did expect the teams to start of, exploring a little bit more and playing more of these new picks. After a very standard game one, CLG say, you know what, that's not good enough. We have to play something a little different.
Yeah. Plus, I really like Vladimir just as a champion for Huhi because you can get a lot of survivability. He's encouraged to build health now with the rework of the passive, get even more value out of building health. Plus, the pool and the Zhonyas, Huhi's going to be in the middle of the team fight. Now he's going to have some invulnerabilities.
Well, we'll see what they can get done. But remember, you can weigh in on Twitter as well and let us know if you think CLG can win this one and send us to a decider. Update your votes with the hashtag TSM win or hashtag CLG win. As always, these two teams, so much fun to watch play.
Yeah. Especially Aphromoo Bard here because they play the style that Bard wants to play into. It's CLG split pushing. Bard can pick people off in any lane as the enemy team's trying to move, from lane to lane. The problem we have for CLG is going to be, getting to that point. We saw last time TSM right out of the gates gaining advantages pretty much across the board. So my eyes are going to be on Svenskeren, on this Elise. See if he can make some plays. Rek'Sai is really good at countering the early Elise moves because of the Tremor Sense. And if you have vision of Elise or you at least know where she is, makes her so much less threatening because she really does depend on landing that cocoon and getting off some burst early. Otherwise, she will get out-farmed.
And it feels like, understandably, TSM have changed very little with how they sort of put together this composition. Doublelift back on the Lucian. Victor feels like sort of a similar champion to Zillion as far as like more control mages, more wave clear going. And then Haunter on a very standard pick, and Svenskeren kind of took the best aggressive jungler left in the pool, given that Smithy wanted the Rek'Sai after 3 jungle bans. I mean, TSM won game 1. There's no reason really to have to change things up. It is CLG that will force the change. They have done so. We'll see if they can impact enough here in game 2 to force us to a third.
All right, let's take a look. First set, will we get a best of 3? Will we get an actual 3 games? Best of 3, or is TSM just going to close the door on the defending champions here?
I believe the upper limit of games, according to the analyst desk for one team, is 54.
If every single one of your matches goes to 3 games.
Well, it has to start here. 54 games to dream. We'll see what happens. But TSM leading as we move out onto the rift for this second one. Great to see Darshan back on a pick like Fiora. Huhi going to be rocking that Vladimir in mid lane as well. But TSM really came to play in the first one.
He did indeed. Aphromoo trying to look for some early gold here. Procs the spell thieves. Ooh, Darshan not hesitating to trade.
Very nice from Haunter, actually. Just dodging that vital. Smithy and Huhi going to get some poke down onto Svenskeren. Bjergsen moving out as well, just looking for vision. They'll trade a few blows back and forth, but everyone's staying pretty healthy. And once again, Haunter baiting it in. Ooh, vital proc. Not quite the side that Darshan wanted.
Haunter's going to be fine, though. He's still got 30 seconds to get back to lane. That should be fine for him. He should get there almost right on time. Let's see if they do standard lanes. I'm very excited to see them match up once again. This time around with Bard Ezreal. A lot of potential for lasting poke to land there. And we'll see how Biofrost handles himself on a melee champion in Braum.
Talked about the regression though. Ignites for both supports this time. Bio was rocking it on the Karma last game.
Yeah. Some very high potential for all-ins. With both
really?
These
These guys?
Braum Lucian, the classic. Very early triggering of the Braum stun passive. Ezreal and Bard, as we said, a lot of range harass they can try and get down. And Aphromoo, we talk about flash moves. Hey, yo!
Hey,
Afromoo's been one of the guys who loves to go early flashes on Bard to land the Cosmic Bindings and go with that Ignite to try and get an early kill, catch people off guard. See if they actually make it happen this time around, though.
We'll have to see, but it is going to be standard lanes once again. They actually managed to take a camp away, so it looks like they'll just keep that in front of themselves. But once again, have to think the aggression is there for TSM. Aphromoo and Styx, they're already getting chunked out a bit. Nice aggression there from the TSM bottom side. And I think Doublelift might be back for another early level 2. And you said it already, all into the name of the game, especially for TSM's duos.
All right. Also, I'm going to keep an eye on this Elise. Svenskeren has the option to go 3 camps from this red side and go up to top lane to try and gank. Darshan is pushing on the Fiora really hard. He's bullying Haunter.
Oh, very nice proposed there from Darshan.
Yeah, and the Elise has the opportunity to try and go up there. Her level 3 kit, that's all you need. But Svenskeren is going to leave Haunter on his own and head on through with the rest of the full clear. Smithy here. This is something he's done so often. He goes straight for this early ward on the mid lane to try and give Huhi some more safety on the bottom side of the map. He can hover there. And Rek'Sai is also going to provide that tremor sense. So gets the Scuttle Crab as well, going for his early ward to provide some safety for both his mid and bottom lane. And then returns to complete his clear.
Have a look in the mid lane though. Bjergsen and Huhi battling out. Good shield there from Bjergsen, actually dodging some of that W damage. Seems to be in control of the matchup and up to date with all the mid lane mages that did receive so many changes moving into the summer season. In general though, it feels like Dasha back at home in a 1v1, although Hornset is currently leading in CS by a few.
Yeah, he shoved the lane up, so there's a bunch of CS here for Darshan to try and get at the turret, and he should catch back up to exactly even if he gets them all. He got them all.
He did it.
All right.
Well done.
Even up on that side, but teleport advantage for Darshan in CLG.
That's true. Haunter did use it already. Went back and got a Doran's Ring, I believe. Does have that corrupting potion from level 1 already. As once again, TSM's duo weren't able to quite get as much damage done this time around, but continuing to play up and aggressive wherever possible. Haunter looking to trade in, but the Vital proc's in there from Fiora. Going to cause Haunter a few issues, but looks to be again navigating a tricky matchup quite well once more.
All right, well, junglers are just pretty much continuing with the clear. Svenskeren actually walking over that early ward now from CLG in the top side. So they've been alerted to his presence, and Darshan takes the opportunity to start his recall, go back for his own purchase, and he's going really aggressively here, picking up another Doran's Blade for himself. Really wants to get a hold on this top side of the map. Try and get a split push threat built early on.
Even TP's his way back in, so definitely looking to outright win his lane this time around. Smithy though, caught on his blue buff, and Haunter's actually going to chase him down. Damage is massive there, and Haunter is going to force Smithy to burrow away, and that blue buff could go over to TSM here. Darshan tries, but Svenskaren's already got it.
Second game in a row, TSM play high pressure in their mid and this time in the top as well. Able to go for an invade once again. Svenskeren just chasing Smithy out of his own jungle, and Haunter taking a bunch of his HP there.
Still keeping up as well in CS despite the early TP from Darshan, so looks like Haunter is getting the better of the early stages of these lanes in a lot of ways, but he's going to have to play carefully. He's back in the bottom. 6-8 Afro, much better start here. Nice binding there from Afro, gets damage down, but they're able to play up nice and aggressive and just keep the lane pushed in.
Yeah, here's the poke from the double ranged here on CLG. You want to get them under turret first, then you can try and harass them while they're going for CS. So either they miss CS or they take a bunch of damage. All going according to plan here. Meanwhile, Bjergsen was a big part of that invade as well, enabling Svenskeren to make moves like that, not allowing Huhi to really collapse quickly. Either collapse or lose a lot of control.
Oof. These are pretty great fights to watch. Darshan with another nice riposte, and that Vital almost pops up in time for a bit of extra poke. You can see Haunter is going to have to chug that potion and try and get some health back, because Darshan maybe looking to get hyper aggressive here and at least force some summoners out of Haunter.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing really far up in the lane, and he's playing pretty aggressively, going for these trades. But you have to be careful, because there's a balance between going for the trades and actually securing CS. Nice binding there. Aphromoot denies Biofrost all in.
Yep. Svenskeren even there as well, so CLG shut that down very quickly. Doublelift will not be getting first blood this time around. Another good binding actually keeps the poke down onto Biofrost. This wave might even get pulled back. CLG looking very healthy here, and TSM to say, all right, I guess we have to go back now, because that completely flopped in bottom lane.
Yep, going to be able to regain control. Everybody's just going to go right back to farming here. All right, so this is actually decent for CLG, avoiding, you know, early ganks from Elise. But as far as the CS goes, pretty even across the board. Only a few strength difference between the leagues.
Smithy in that top lane, no. Haunter actually used his ulti to get back to lane because he didn't have teleport. It's one of the nice benefits of playing Echo in a solo lane. Huhi actually coming up as well. Though this could be a dive, but Smithy spotted by a pink ward. That's going to cause Huhi back towards that mid lane.
Yeah.
But nice to see him being a bit more active. Vladimir, not really well known as a roam champion, but if Huhi could get out of the lane, something he couldn't do in game number 1.
Yeah, exactly. You could see what CLG were thinking there. You know what? He's using his ultimate to get back to the lane. We should try and dive him, because he won't have that extra survivability under there. But pink ward's already in place, so that kind of foils the whole plan, and Huhi cancels his roam. Able to CS under turret as well quite effectively. So he's doing a lot better this time around. He's built early magic resistance as well. So with that cowl regeneration and the sustain of Vladimir should be very difficult for Bjergsen to apply the same kind of pressure that he applied last game. Also, so hard to dive Vladimir,
Yep.
right? Especially in the mid lane. So Huhi, this is a good champion for him. He's just wants to be an immovable farming object in the mid lane right now for them, and let Darshan be the one who's really trying to apply pressure for the squad.
And pressure he's applying, but Haunter again still taking good trades and keeping up in CS despite Darshan trying to play into him as much as possible. That sheen that he got certainly helping there as Svenskeren next Smithy. We're going to meet once again, but Smithy spots him with the Tremor Sense. Svenskeren, though, looking to start a fight pretty much any time he's in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, looking for the invade here. Bjergsen heads down as well. Post level 6 mid laners, you really have to give a lot of respect to the Victor combo. Ooh. Smithy doesn't respect it though, goes in, tries for the secure, but Svenskeren's got smite, so makes that pretty difficult to do.
Yep, got the red buff and almost took him out. Smithy forced to burrow back towards the Krugs, but he'll keep himself safe for now, and First Blood still eluding both these sides. Is Smithy actually going to take this down? Svenskeren though in the area. Voltos Byland's going to catch in. Going to swap in after the Cocoon. Bites down, but Smithy maybe just able to tunnel out. Collapses that one. Doesn't really want to go too deep, and CLG are collapsing. The teleport's here, but there's the answer from TSM. Darshan, instant ulti down as everyone's coming in. Haunter actually in the middle of it all, but a huge off from Bjergsen's going to move it all in. Haunter now chasing down. He gets the first spot onto Darshan. Hui now going to get caught out and take the magical journey to safety, but TSM react better once again.
Yeah, Smithy tried to bait a little bit there, but TSM just collapsed quicker. Bjergsen is right there, and then CLG fight on the gravity field. They're able to take down Darshan. He uses all summoner spells and his ultimate. That's going to be the Earth Dragon as well for them. And that makes it a lot easier because every objective is still available on the map. Going to get a lot of value out of this one.
Yep, good dragon to get. They'll pick it up. Zaframu going to get chased out again. Biofrost puts up the shield. Stick save. Nice arcane chip out from under the Winter's Bite. The TSM will once again claim a dragon.
Okay, so CLG, they're going to play from behind again. They're going to have to work on their defensive play. Try and defensively ward and be able to react better than that last invade.
Nice play from TSM on their side though. Again, impressed that they used the general roaming. Good teleport from Horse to get some in there. Bjergsen actually has the Ghost, which I didn't know earlier, but it would be pretty mobile. That did also get changed among the many things that got changed in this patch.
So nice, especially for a lot of junglers. Definitely underrated. 30 seconds off the cooldown for Ghost has started to show up at least. On some champions beside like Hecarim, who is one of the only champions that used Ghost before, just because Flash is so valuable. Now, decent amount of junglers trying to use it, just because you can go burn the Flash cooldown of enemy laners and then return much quicker than they can.
Fully buff over to Bjergsen though, so we will have a check back in with Huhi and friends. Looks like Bjergsen actually up pretty significant amount of CS, but Huhi going to stay in lane and try and get what he can. Bjergsen might look to back, but doesn't just yet. Going to keep the lane pressure up for now. Looks like Huhi, I think that's Spirit Visage first actually, with that Kindle Gem in his inventory, but it could be just about anything.
And yeah, as we said, after the rework, Vladimir encouraged even more to build health. And with the Spirit Visage early, it's going to be very, very difficult for the TSM squad to kill him. In lane phase, it's a Victor and Elise, all magic damage. Even if the top laner comes down and tries to take you out, Haunter's got mostly magic damage now. Does have the G.
Just doing work in that top lane as well. Once again taking winning trades as Bjergsen's actually made his way up to the top lane. This is a pretty creative dive squad, but Darshan does not have his riposte up. Bjergsen to Ghost in, they're going for the dive. Does pop the ulti, but the ulti's down for Victor, and that should be enough for Bjergsen to collect himself a kill as Haunter. Does drop turret aggro.
Yep, no teleport from Huhi able to try and answer, so the roam looking for it. Will that even kill?
I'm not sure. We're going to find out. It hits him! Does not kill.
Close though, and he did land it, so pretty good shot, but Haunter brushes that one off and recalls easily.
Ooh, just Cocoon there for Sven, but he still goes for the fight. Knocked up there from the Unburrow. Next Smithy's just going to do damage. Huhi goes in, pops down the ulti, and I don't think that at least can really go anywhere. Sven going to get burnt out. Huhi going to get himself a kill.
There we go. Huhi actually has a pretty good collapse there, but it's just a drop in the bucket. TSM still with a very substantial lead. Huhi finally makes a move for himself though, and charges up the E fully. You get that slow on it and flashes in there to try and land it. Svenskeren gets punished, but still feeling very confident about their position in this game.
And really punished for the first time in the series for invading aggressively. Aframu, good dodge. takes the magical journey back to the lane and make sure Stixay is safe. He does have that mana immunity building up now, so kind of happy to sit around Aphromoo again. Just being annoying more than anything else. But keeping up nicely here this time. Doublelift has not had the same snowball in that lane this time. And look at Smithy actually now starting to invade, but Sven's going to spot him. Not in time though. Sneaks away the red buffer. Sven's going to chase him. Oh! Buffered tunnel. Sven wants it, but I don't think he's going to be able to chase him there.
So close there, actually. Just barely missing the cocoon. Biofrost is getting very low.
That's aggressive. He gets ignited. He flashes. The heal might not be enough. Doublelift's going to try and turn things around, but he's going to get stunned up as well. Doublelift still going to try and turn it out. Does flash out of the way, but Stixay flashes in and nails him with a Q.
Whoa! The outplays on bottom lane even up. And Bjergsen wants to come reclaim those kills. It looks like he might be able to get in position to do it. He's got flash still.
He's got the ulti as well. This is going to do damage, but CLG will defensively TP in. Bjergsen got caught by the Tempest bait, and they'll ride the magical journey in. Good flash there from Bjergsen, gets him out, but the slow lands in. Bjergsen, though, able to get the Q move speed and run away.
Ooh, they almost turned that one around. Teleport there. Okay, so Smithy's going to get right back out. Do CLG want to pressure now? They've had a pretty decent swing here. This is going to be them almost evening the game right back up.
Darshan and Haunter still at it, but Haunter again winning his trades in the 1v1. He's up so much CS in this lane as well. Haunter's going in, looking for the dive in. Darshan pops the ulti defensively. Almost gets all the vitals. Haunter actually forced to back out of that dive.
He's got the ultimate advantage now, though, so some more damage on this turret, some more minions denied from Darshan, and once again, Haunter is crushing Darshan in this matchup. Echo, huge lead for themselves. CLG keep picking champions for Darshan to try and become a split push threat, but he's not going to get there. Behind in lane once again. Let's take another look at this. Binding from Aphromoo starts it out, and then Biofrost just goes super aggro here. Gets ignited so the heal doesn't get full effectiveness. The Thunderlords took him down, and another Cosmic Binding from Aphromoo. He makes it seem like a targeted ability here. Then Stixay goes in, flash Q. Able to take that one. Bjergsen tries to clean it up, as we know, but CLG turned that one around.
Yep. Bjergsen doesn't go down, but he's sort of forced to use some summoners and back away. And CLG actually sort of turned things around. Still behind in gold. TSM up a dragon and 1,500 gold so far. But 15 minutes in game number 1 was a whole lot worse in this particular game. So CLG has done a great job holding on. And I think most importantly, not letting Doublelift start snowballing his lane again.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to outplay him in the bottom lane, but Doublelift still has strong CS and he's got his Ghost Blade built. So he has that flat armor penetration, still very formidable force. And TSM still do have the lead. They're making a pretty good...
Yeah, Haunter's in actually. Aphromoo going to get locked up here. Ulti's out, but Stixay's getting chased down by Haunter. Haunter should just be able to clean that one up, and he's actually going to get greedy. Darshan, though, takes out Doublelift on the other end as Hui takes out Bjergsen in rotation. Haunter actually still fighting around, but forced to burn the ulti. And Stixay somehow still alive. Haunter going to look to chase in. Will finally get shut down by the phase dive, but Aphromoo stuns up the Echo. Haunter going to go down here as well. And the ulti almost getting in there as Smithy takes out Haunter. CLG just outplay the crap out of TSM.
They're climbing right back into this one, and there's a dragon available this time if they want to go for it, but they're chasing under the turret.
Very aggressive, looking for a dive. Biofrost puts up the door. And Sven Scaring will back out as well. A 3-for-2 trade overall. CLG come out on top.
Yeah, I think CLG should just take jungle and try and get... Well, maybe they won't even have enough time for dragon now. Hui's going to try and zone for this blue buff steal, though.
Does zone away. Looks like blue went over to... Afro, I think. No, Hui did get it. Excuse me. So
yeah, it would be a little bit overreaching to try and go for the dragon now. TSM are respawning after that. So CLG, they're making a couple steps right back into this game. Gold right back within striking distance, but after leaving the map, it looks like TSM are going to be the ones to grab it. And that is Infernal Drake, the prize Drake. Can Smithy get in there for a steal? It might be a suicide, but he's trying to scare him.
He doesn't have snipe, but he will try and scare them away. And that almost is enough, I think. TSM, not enough vision to try and commit for it. Hui zones them off, and CLG might have enough time.
It's still low, and CLG went right back in. So TSM soften it up for him, and CLG gonna Drake the dragon.
So Ocean Drake will be up after that. So traded 1 dragon apiece. TSM with the Earth Dragon. CLG gonna collect themselves an Infernal. TSM, if they had, perfect information, probably able to take that one down, but CLG starting to play definitely more on the front foot here. Able to clean that one out, and again, keep the game nice and even. Not out of control this time around, although we've had a very long laning phase.
True enough. Standard lanes, and only the top turret went down. Let's take another look at this. Doublelift gets knocked with the Cosmic Binding, allowing Stixay to land almost the full combo there, but Darshan finishes him off in the dive, as we saw, and then tries to exit from the top side, going to get taken down by Sven Skarin up there for the answer. CLG actually clean up a lot more kills here. Stixxay almost going to get out. But man, Haunter flashing there. Another Cosmic Binding from Aphromoo. His Bard has been so good for CLG.
It's the reason it's been banned an awful lot over at MSI. He's a very, very proficient Bard player. CLG get themselves some much needed kills, and I think Darshan going to feel a bit better about the lane, despite the fact that Haunter is still quite far ahead. 40 CS up with the Sun 5 finish, but Darshan will get stronger as the game goes on. Yeah. CLG again, happy to be in this spot given what happened in the first game.
Definitely. It's a new position for Darshan to be in. Right? He's not really used to being the weak link on the team. But right now, he is the weak spot for CLG, and something that TSM want to try and take an advantage of, with Haunter having a 2-level lead in addition to all the gold he has over Fiora. As of right now, CLG having him just farm in this top lane right there. They've got the tower down, so they're trying to get Darshan some CS. That means that the rest of their team needs to play a bit safer. So we probably won't see all-ins here from the duo lane. Huhi, we talked about how easy it is for Vladimir to play safe in the mid lane. And Smithy just continues to ward with the Rek'Sai on jungle. Smithy's basically a walking radar that tries to put down wards and delay the enemy team. Right now he does get caught on his warding mission, but it's not going to be big deal for him, and he's able to heal up with the passive.
And again, going full tank, so very tanky on the Rek'Sai. Getting caught doesn't cost him too much. There is Huhi starting to bully perhaps as Haunter, though. He's going to dive his way in. 3v1 right now for Huhi, but he doesn't dodge the Kakunic. Smithy, though, going to stand and fight as Aphromoos in here. Sven Skarin going to get chunked down, and that Hemoflex should be enough. Aphro able to take him down, but Haunter still chasing in. Now Bifrost moving in onto Huhi as they will get the stun down. Damage is good. They'll chain the CC, but Huhi is so tanky and does not fall.
That Bard damage and Ignite from Aphromoo, they actually get a kill for CLG and they're collapsing.
Stixxay's here, ulti's good, but it's not enough to take out Haunter. TSM will live, but Darshan does answer with a structure in top lane.
He's very happy that he doesn't have to play against anybody here. The rest of CLG are doing the work. This is a split push CLG, but it's the 4-man part of the split push that are gaining the map advantage and letting their one split pusher get back into the game. Darshan cleans up some minions, does get the tower gold for the team, and he's very happy for that experience as well. Still 2 levels down to Haunter, though.
You can start to see some of the issues perhaps in mid lane as Doublelift will clean this out as best he can, because Huhi did not have the Zhonya's when that last fight started, and he still didn't die. 2-item Vlad looking awfully strong.
Yes, Zhonya's completed for him now. He's got a lot of playmaking ability. We talked about how Huhi likes to play those team fights, zoning for Stixxay, trying to open up opportunities for Stixxay to have high AD carry uptime, constantly getting out DPS. And with the Zhonya's, with the Spirit Visage, Huhi's just a menace, trying to disrupt inside the middle of the team fight and absorb a lot of cooldowns from the enemy team, plus dealing a lot of damage while he's at it.
Well, you can definitely see CLG collapsing well there to actually get themselves the lead, if ever so slight, here in this second game here. They're 500 gold up now on TSM. This Haunter once more fight Darshan, but the ulti's out. Riposte has been used already. So it's Garen here, though, to try and imbalance this one. 1v2. Can Darshan get out? He's going to keep moving in, but Haunter's able to take it.
Haunter's playing this Echo so well, and they're not done yet.
Yes.
Huhi moves in for the 1 versus 2, and Aphromoo can find Sven.
This is the problem. Aphro's in there. Binding doesn't land, but Sven going to get taken out regardless.
There's that map mobility of Bard that we talked about. Aphro gets up there, and again, the Bard for CLG comes up huge. I was just about to commend Haunter for his echo play there. He did something really sneaky because Darshan can see the timing when the parallel convergence is going to land. He actually moves out of his own parallel convergence so he doesn't stun Darshan when the riposte is up, and moves back in after it's done so that they're able to get that kill.
Well, Mind Game's certainly strong with Haunter, and he's at a fantastic lane so far. It's 55 CS ahead. Looking to knock down this turret. The Iceborne Gauntlet should make short work of it. And
CLG pull ahead with that play for a very short amount of time. Darshan looking to even it up now, though, as you said.
Good luck chasing Echo. Haunter just takes the turret and gets away, but blue buff will get stolen and given over to X-Smithy. Looks like CLG want to open the map up a bit. Huhi here, going to proxy this wave up, and it should be an easy turret take for CLG. Again, we've had a long landing phase here, 22 minutes in.
Yep.
And now finally a 4th turret will fall. CLG going to even that score at 2-2.
Quite an exciting second game of the series, I had to say. You know, after Doublelift had a good performance last game, now his old partner Aphromoo is looking like he wants to make an MVP appearance here, player of the game, if you will, because man, this Bard is doing a lot of work for them. 3-0-3 sitting right now. highest kill participation of anyone.
Certainly on track. It looks like Stixay also powering up. In general, CLG getting themselves into a much comfier position, and Darshan again, he is scaling. Still behind Haunter, but should be okay as things move through. And Dragon back up in 5 seconds. It is the Ocean Drake. See if these two teams do want to fight for it. In fact, Smithy's already ulted into the pit.
Yep, CLG setting up for it really early here. They have a lot of vision as well. It's not just that they have everyone here, but they've got a lot of wards sort of moving up into that blue quadrant of the jungle and true sight for themselves, so they're going to start off this dragon.
Yep, Huhi actually tanking it up, but TSM I think would rather trade a turret.
Yeah, Darshan has teleport. He's really far away. He's taking the blue buff right now, so it's just going to be a mid turret there. TSM opt to trade for that Ocean Drake.
Good binding from Afro, but no follow up there for CLG. Ulti though, it should be enough. Firefrost is going to get ultied up there. Svenskeren in the front line trying to do something. Haunter actually going to dive back in straight onto Stixay. Dragon's still available next. Smithy's going to dive in for a Haunter. Pops the ulti back in. A Doublelift's able to take out the Rek'Sai.
Whoa! CLG don't finish the Drake, and they actually go in for the team fight. CLG opt into that. They tried to catch TSM while they were moving over, and then Smithy, someone makes the call for him to engage. He's extremely low, and they go down. Can they clean up the Drake afterwards, though?
Still tanking it. TSM actually going to TP back in as Haunter's going to make his way down with full up and home that Hui caught up there by a stun. Does pop the Zhonya's, and the rest of CLG may be able to collapse. Cosmic Binding is going to miss as Darshan looks to try and take him out. Riposte is good, and he's going to continue to be chased as Doublelift wants to play cleanup. Has to be careful. Gets stunned over the wall. Hui flashes in to try and take him out, but does not get him. Björksen takes him out, and Doublelift somehow lives.
Everyone on TSM survives that. What a big blooper from CLG. The calls right there. Oh, but they combine Svenskeren. They're not done yet.
And dead, they're not done at all. Stixay getting chopped, but he gets himself a double kill.
Oh my goodness.
Afro just gets out as well, but Haunter is going to shut that down. Smithy now back in with the ult. He's going to try and get it done. Afro move, double binding there. The damage is massive, but they're going to try and keep chasing. Afro barely lives on the back end of Time Winder. And Björksen, you have to run, but he gets knocked up. That should be enough, and Darshan takes him out.
It's a bloodbath, Pastry. It's not even done yet. Now they're going to go back to the dragon, the scene of the crime. It's CLG in the end. Looks like they will be able to claim that Ocean Drake after all of that.
They
madness.
deserve it.
Okay, so this is about halfway through the shenanigans. Who's going to be the one to start it off because he's got the Zhonya's. Tries to group up all of TSM for the re-engage here from CLG. This is a 4 vs 5 re-engage, by the way, remember. And they're going to try and take down Doublelift here. Aframu does get the Cosmic Binding before the flash. And then Huhi flashes in to try and finish him off, sacrificing his life. And at this point, you think, oh, TSM have gotten away with murder. But Stixay follows this one up. He goes in with the Ezreal, gets the flash auto for that kill, and then gets the kill onto Doublelift as well. Arcane Shift right into his face.
Clean up on the back end, though, as it did last for quite a while. But in the end, just a lot of trades back and forth here. And the gold, again, still pretty much even. CLG up by 500 gold for now, but
Yeah, this is a scrappy one.
yeah, very much so. 19 kills in 26 minutes. This is more the pace I'm used to.
Yeah, all right. Are you looking forward to a possibility of a third game here? Haunter doesn't want to let them have a third game, though. He's going hard on Hui.
He's massive right now on the Echo, and Hui's actually struggling to try and get away.
The most annoying thing about Echo is that you can't get away from him either with the constant applications of the passive. This continues the beatdown.
Yep, and the stun is going to land as well. Even the ulti burn by Hui to try and live. Vladimir has so much healing, and Smithy maybe can turn the tides. He will, but Haunter is a menace.
Can't get away from him, but Vladimir can sustain for long enough for our reinforcements to arrive, and Smithy escorts Hui away. We're able to get out of there. No more blood will be shed quite yet.
Well, don't hold your breath for too long, because I don't think these teams are letting up. Map's really opened up now as TSM have claimed 3 turrets to CLG's 2. But the Baron in play now, 27 minutes in. And of course, there are Dragons coming back as well. So, again, a much more even game than the first one.
Yeah.
See which team can break it open.
So interesting how these play out when the split push champion for CLG does not get an early lead, and they don't get to try and utilize that in the mid game. TSM here are going to claim their last outer turret. So now they can try and start pushing up the ward line. As of right now, they've got a really nice pink ward line straight down the river. They're controlling that pretty effectively with their true sight. They really have to watch out, though, for the cross-map plays of Aframu on this Bard. He has yet to die. He's been the one picking people off. He does it
Thank
again. The ignite from Afro
that's
claims
enough.
another. That's 4 kills on the bar.
He's actually going after Doublelift as well. He's going to eat a face full of culling though for it, as Doublelift does get himself out. Did not get tagged by the Tempered Fate, but Afro will not be stopped today.
Oh my goodness, he's stacking up a kill streak for himself on the support as well. All right, let's see
A valuable bud.
how they close it in, because Svenskeren off the table here for TSM, so they're just going to try and hold. Darshan definitely doesn't want to go for any sort of dive. They don't have much vision. Smithy's in the area, but he's mainly just protecting, looking for TSM members.
And who he actually is committing to split push, it seems like. We saw that Haunter was able to shove him out of the lane, but it's really hard to kill the Vlad at this point. Looks like they actually might go back in for it, but Doublelift gets himself out from under knockup range. Maybe now going to turn things around. Smithy taking damage, but there's the ulti out of Darshan. Great ulti from Bifrost though, and Darshan's very squishy. TSM are going to move in for it. Haunter takes out Darshan again.
And now they're going to be on the chase. Who he doesn't have teleport. He canceled it.
It followed it. The arcane shift moved in after phase dive, and 6 has to run. Aperu sets up the portal, but Björk sits here. Haunter takes out the Ezreal, and Smithy going to get stunned up as well. Svenskeren claims that one, and Haunter rampaging through CLG. Going to try and finally slay Aframu.
Can he claim?
Going to keep running. Afro, I don't think he's getting out of this one, but maybe he flashes. Haunter wants it, and he's actually going to get away.
Afro lives. Okay, so if we do collect ourselves after that, there was a Huhi teleport, but I think he canceled it when they saw they were losing the fight to begin with. And once Darshan went down, CLG decided to cut their losses, and they actually trade a turret for that. So not the very worst that it could have been, but a pretty big pickup there for TSM, as after the fact, they're able to pick that Baron buff up for themselves, and that is going to be a huge part in taking this game from one stage here where they're having constant team fights everywhere and people are kind of running around. But okay, so let's actually keep a track of when the exact timer for the teleport towards channel, because the first one that comes in is Haunter's, and then who he comes to try and answer. But you see there, once Darshan dies, immediate cancel. You know what? We're going to at least try and salvage a turret out of this one. But TSM clean up so much. Haunter here is just on a rampage with this Echo. Keeps up the chase. They take down the Ezreal. Smithy's going to be left for the rest of the team to deal with. And the 4-man squad goes for the Baron. That's why they have right now. He was off screen, but they easily take that one down while Haunter keeps up the chase. And CLG just get one turret for it.
Yep, I mean, definitely a strong play there from TSM. Good ult there from Afro, but I don't think there's follow-up here. Who wants it? Smithy diving in as a Human Flake down onto 2. Bifrost taking damage in the front line, but Doublelift dishing it out. Svenskeren does go down on Darshan. He's actually made his way in. Björksen is going to fall down, and Fiora ulti will pop as Huhi does give chase. Haunter a little late to the fight now, and CLG turn back around for 2.
The team fight, and we talked about CLG put in a lot of work heading into MSI, and this time around they make it work out right here. Afamu starts it off. See if they can actually take down the turret afterwards. Haunter, yeah, not even going to sit around. But man, CLG, great collapse there. We talked about Huhi running, being the point man for this squad as far as the team fight. He runs right in there on Vladimir.
Whoa! Haunter wants in, goes for and gets the stun down. Forced the ulti out, but the turret still dealing some damage here. CLG though, real tanky on the front end of this one, but might have to back away. Haunter and Bifrost a little too threatening with the turret there.
Yeah. One of the reasons a lot of people have been banning this Vladimir. Huge team fight presence, and Darshan comes in a bit later with the flank on Fiora after everybody on TSM have been trying to use their cooldowns for survival. Perfect opportunity for Fiora, trying to come in and clean up with some extra damage. Ooh. See what TSM trying to do with this Mountain Drake though, because they do have almost everybody except for the 2 damage dealers.
Yep.
Gerson and Doublelift not quite there, so it's going to take a while to go down.
They teleport in though. Afro's also in the area with ultimate, but that TP is going to be finished. Huhi just straight into the front lines here as TSM going to look to try and turn it around. Haunter, good damage out on the front side, but Smithy going to knock him up. Haunter maybe taking a little too much here. Dragon actually still going for TSM as well.
I thought we were going to transition out of this phase of the game, but it's not true.
Oh, Afro, good ulti there to the bottom. Hui's still taking forward. Does not pull out of the way, and CLG do claim the Dragon. Darshan in the front side as ultis are traded. TSM will stay alive for now, but CLG did get the Dragon.
All right. I mean, design team wanted more team fights. Implement the new Dragons. They get more team fights, baby. Constant battling here. And even after that, it feels kind of like CLG, you know, have a handle on this game. They're still behind in gold, even though it's such a slight amount. TSM are still capable of taking one of these. It's all about the setup, though. And so often the setup has been determined by Afromu in an advantageous way for CLG to start off the team fight. And once they've been able to get that early footing, it's been hard for TSM to regroup here.
Certainly has, but good news for both teams this time is that the game is still very close. Only 1,000 gold up for TSM, which at this stage of the game, almost 33 minutes in, is pretty much nothing. CLG will have the Dragon advantage, but Elder Dragon actually will make an appearance in the NALCS for the first time this summer. Didn't get to see him last game.
Yeah, and as you can see with the updated graphic there, under CLG, 3 dragons. Only missing the air one. Wah, wah, too bad. We don't have a... I'm sure they're not too sad about that, but the Earth Dragon is the only one TSM have. So if that Elder Dragon does come up in a minute and a half or so, it's going to have a big priority for CLG. Oh, Afro gets caught!
Oh no, could he die for the first time? He does! Gets shut down there by Spenskaren, but Bjerg's actually getting taken on the other side. Shields are there though, and he still lives somehow through that all. As Haunter is wreaking havoc in the backside. Doublelift able to take that next one out, and TSM, they're going to turn things around. Hui stunned up there.
What a swing for TSM here. Afro makes the rare mistake, and it's going to cost them.
Hui going to die there as well. Finally goes down after all that healing. And TSM, they claim 3 lives. They'll get the turret and continue chugging down bottom lane.
Oh yeah, they're going to keep pressuring here. They lost nobody in that team fight. Afro Moon went down before anything happened. So CLG trying to salvage things with a 4 versus 5 there, but they just lose 2 more, and TSM take the inhibitor.
Spenskaren on point as always with the cocoons, and TSM are going to break that bottom half of the map. CLG going to struggle to maybe fight for Elder Dragon, which is actually interesting because this normally doesn't work this way.
A back and forth game, Pastry. We just talked about setting up the importance of this Elder Dragon for CLG. Losing their bottom inhibitor is very big because that's going to have a constant stream of minions for TSM that give them some extra vision, even if TSM's wards time out, if CLG start clearing them. Yeah, so Aftermoon right there, he's walking up. He had his own pink ward, but man, base checks, gets cocooned, and then Bjergsen surviving here with shields on shields and the heal as well going off to keep him upright. Remember, that's a full tank Rek'Sai, so Smithy's got very little hope of even finishing off someone that low health. And then after that, it's very easy for TSM to continue the chase. Good stuns there from Braum, able to continue that one, and huge momentum swing here. TSM pull out not only to a map lead with that inhibitor going out, but also the gold lead here. Pretty heavy in their favor.
Baron, of course, will be back up in just about 55 seconds. So TSM can also use that bottom half pressure to try and get that for themselves. Right now, they're just trying to demolish some turrets. That'll be the 7th one of the game for TSM, as these tier 2s are all dead now. CLG gonna have to play defense for a while.
Yep. They're gonna have to try and hold on here and see if TSM actually decide to set up for Baron or look for some picks here, because they do have Braum and Elise. You know, we just saw what Afromu did. That also works if TSM can get brush control.
Right now, setting up for it.
Yeah.
TSM just hanging around the Baron area. Have cleaned out all the vision. Once again, hanging out in the bush, seeing if someone takes the bait.
Yeah, I think CLG smell this one, though. They've got a Rek'Sai, so they should actually have Smithy burrowed more, because now TSM aren't moving. Oh, he doesn't check the right butt.
Oh, no, Afro does not get snagged by Cocoon, though, and that's going to give it up. Now Smithy can see them all moving out of the brush, so safe for now.
Yeah, TSM going to abort that plan as they see Darshan moving up to the turret, so they were just using a little bit of time while Darshan was safely in vision and not hitting their inhibitor. Try and go for that play, but now they have to send Haunter back to go answer that push. And CLG actually bought a lot of time there, pushing that bottom lane up so far. It's going to take a while for those supers to work back down and pressure so that TSM can try and use the bottom inhibitor plus the Baron as a tug of war, you know, make CLG make a tough decision and try and force them into face checking one of those Elise cocoons into the Braum chain stuns.
Well, TSM, we saw them set up for Baron quite well in game number 1, but you can see just how topsy-turvy this game has been. TSM now back out to a golden. It's actually a pretty significant one. It's the biggest one in this particular game so far.
Yep.
But Baron is alive. Elder Dragon's going to be up in a minute 5. These next few minutes are crucial.
Yeah. They also have, Afromu's completed that banner of command, so if they can hold out and get the inhibitor to respond, you know, this banner is doing a little bit to help, but here comes the teleport. Haunter's going in.
There's a target. Haunter's going to dive in for it. Gets the phase dive in again, and it's going to chase him down. Afro's going to piece him out. Haunter thinks about it. does not take the journey.
Yeah, very necessary flash there from Stixay. He is able to survive, but TSM moving up towards that Baron, and Darshan is trying to deal with that minion wave down bottom.
Yeah, who is super late? Darshan going to channel that TP, but TSM might have claimed the Baron already. It's awfully low. Darshan's in for it. Senscaron does secure it now. Xmithy may be caught on the front side. Tempered Fade in there, but who are going to dive in and pop the zombies? Xmithy going way too aggressive. He should get taken down as Doublelift is able to claim him. Bifrost in the backside, though. He's getting chased down, but he is going to live. Haunter unstoppable now as he takes out Darshan. Stixay gets popped as well.
Haunter, the hero for TSM.
Still chasing as well. Hui is going to dodge out of that Winter's Bite, but the gravity field's down. They're going to try and turn this around. So much healing onto Hui. Afromu actually takes a bio on the other side as well.
Pure
Haunter going off. He's going to take out one more on Afro. He's going to try and live, and Haunter says, I don't think so. Gets stunned against the wall, but he's going to keep chasing. Afromu is the last one alive. Good start again.
Oh my God!
Haunter somehow lives, and now he's dead. There's the ace for TSM.
Oh my goodness, what a finish. TSM are going to clean up the series 2-0 to start off this split.
Really well played for TSM, and they send the message. Doublelift gets his wish to start the season, and they will clean it up 2-0. TSM showing up in both games there.
They take down the defending champions. First game, very convincing. Second one, a lot more fighting back and forth in that mid game, but TSM win the one that counts and take it home. Haunter was just an absolute monster for TSM in both games this series. Up on the top side, ends this one max level 18 along with Bjergsen, but man, 9-1-7 on the Echo.
In some ways, feels like he beat Darshan at his own game in almost 2 games actually. Had the Maokai into the trundle for game 1, handled the matchup relatively well after Darshan's early TP, and then Fiora, a really big split pusher and duelist, into an Echo. And Haunter just honestly manhandles Darshan a bit there.
Yeah, and he was so crucial in their team fights as well. Zoning with that parallel convergence got off a couple of really big stuns. And TSM, very happy with the way they're starting. Biofrost there, undefeated in the LCS.
And a pretty good showing for the new kid there as well, I have to say. Biofrost looking awfully strong in both games there. 2 very different champions, Karma in game 1, Braum, again, kind of standard stuff, but Biofrost certainly looks like he's already built that synergy with both Doublelift and his team. He was protecting his carries excellently well. When your carries are this good and these 2 men on your screen, that's probably a good place to be.
Yeah, they only had that one hiccup in the bottom lane. They did get killed by Styx and Afro in the 2 versus 2. But man, yeah, overall, pretty good first showing for him.
Afro was so close to having a flawless game on Bite as well, but unfortunately it all fell down towards the end.
Afro was doing everything he possibly could to help CLG, but wasn't enough in the end.
No, unfortunately not. And again, TSM get what they want. They always want to beat CLG. They happen to beat them twice in a row. And unfortunately, we will not get a 3rd game there for that series, but such impressive play from the side.
Yeah, they get a little bit of vengeance there for last split in the finals. I don't know if it's going to do too much.
Probably not.
But yeah. First series is going to go over to TSM. Congratulations to them, and some pretty strong flexibility from them as well. I really like the early team comp that they drafted with the double speed, and Doublelift was able to get that Lucian both times, so he's very happy about that.
Yeah, looks like we are setting up for an interview as well, so you guys can enjoy, I believe, Doublelift from TSM. We'll be joining to a few thoughts on those games. Like you said, he did want to make sure he got the 2-0, did manage to secure it there, and actually 2 very good games. Got Lucian both games, which I don't think I expected, but made it count definitely both times.
Yes, he did. All right. Dom, getting ready there. Oh, you look good. Yeah, we're just waiting on a couple technical things here to pass it over to you.
Have it set up. Any final thoughts on the game? I think, again, we saw the Vlad. We started seeing different stuff there from CLG, but feels like standard game 1 and not so standard game 2. And unfortunately, they couldn't make either of it work there.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple things. I think a lot of the question marks are going to be with CLG made a very obvious choice to return to this split push top laner style, and it didn't get off the ground in either game.
Well, now for the inside perspective on that series, let's head stage side with Dom, who's standing by for an interview with TSM star AD Carry.
Thanks, guys. I am joined with Doublelift. Congratulations, the first win of the summer split, and it's a 2-0 at that against the previous spring split champions. How does it feel to take the win?
Pretty good. It's 3LG, so I think it's expected.
All right, this is the first interview, and you're already dropping some shade. So let's hold a little back for later, all right? So let's talk a little bit about your new support player, Biofrost, helping you out in the bottom lane now.
Oh, man, I really like playing with I call him Vincent. So No, I really, really like playing with him. He's super aggressive. He's not afraid to make plays. Like, obviously, he's not got a lot of competitive experience. First time playing on stage, I mean, I would expect him to be like super nervous, messing up all the time, but he played pretty well. And I think, I don't know, it's so nice to play with someone who, he's kind of like a rookie, but he has like, I don't know, I think he has like the heart of a champion. You know, he's really self-critical. Whenever we give him feedback or advice or whatever, he really takes it to heart. He really works on it every single day. And I can tell he's just always putting on 100% to be the best player for our team. So, man, we all really like playing with him, me especially. We make a lot of plays. Like the first game, we were crushing them in lane. It just feels so good to finally do that again.
Very good. And now that's actually bodes really well because there were a lot of smiles in that huddle that you guys just had at the end of the game. Let's actually talk a little bit about how much time you spent with him because you guys played with him in Korea as well, correct?
Yeah, we boot camped in Korea, and the first, like, I had no idea what to really expect with him when we were scrimming Korean teams, when we were scrimming, or like playing Korean solo queue. And then initially, he just crushed it. Like, we were doing super well and winning every single scrim with just like some random. And then after a while, I finally got to know him, tried out a whole bunch of other supports. They weren't as good as him, so we were like, Biofrost, he's the guy. So after that, we just locked him in for LCS, and I know that everyone is more like, oh, TSM's coming off the boot camp, but they have roster change, like what's going on? I think Biofrost is better for our team than Yellowstar. I think Yellowstar is a great player, but Biofrost is better for our team, and we're going to be really, really good by the end of the split.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. And of course, with these new split changes in best of 3, that's going to be changing the pace a little bit for how you guys are going to be playing out the split.
Sorry, say that again?
So what do you think of the best of 3s, essentially?
Oh, my bad. I zoned out. Best of 3s, it definitely helps a rookie. So, like, you know, if you're coming into the scene, you haven't played LCS before, those best of 1s don't really prepare you for playoffs very well. You kind of only get playoffs practice when you've played multiple playoffs. So now that we're able to play series, I think Vincent will be able to perform at his best for playoffs. And all of us too, even though we're veterans, sometimes we're like, what is it like to play a series? You know, we play best of 1s forever. Now I think it'll be more of like a level playing ground. For example, I don't think like Immortals would have gotten 3-0'd by us if they were playing series throughout last split. And I think it's just better for the scene overall.
Well, we're looking forward to that performance. Doublelift, again, congratulations. Thank you so much for chatting with me. We're going to send it over to Dash and Co. at the Analyst to brace that series down.
Thank you very much, Dom. TSM 2-0, dominating victory over CLG, although a closer game that time around in Game 2. Let's talk about this in the context of the best of 3 formats. We were talking about, you know, the fact that now when a team actually 2-0s or wins that best of 3, it's going to mean a little bit more in terms of the strength of that team in comparison to the others. So TSM going to be very happy walking away from day 1 of the summer split, picking up the 2-0 over the defending champions of all people.
I think that's what feels the best, is that the fact for them is that they did 2-0, and the second game was very close. They managed to avoid going all the way to best of 3, but walking in, beating the defending champions with a rookie support in his first game, and then also having 2 very different games, one where you're really just Doublelift and Bjergsen shining, another game where Haunter shines and carries the game from the top lane. So got to be a good start for TSM and a good feeling.
Yeah, and I think that Biofrost, he's not showing a lot of those nerves that we usually see from rookies, at least in this series. And that's big, because when you bring a rookie on to your squad and you're a squad that really wants to get first place, you have to align everybody on the team. You can't just say, oh, because some people might be like, oh, I just want to play in the LCS, right? Like, that's my goal, is to play in the LCS. It's like, no, our goal is to make it to Worlds and actually go as far in Worlds as we can. And if you get that rookie on that page very quickly and get him over the fact that he's playing in the LCS, right, and those nerves, then he's going to be a great asset for this team. And they already seem to be able to craft him into this guy that they want him to be. And if he's got a heart of a champion, well, he's got to get a championship.
Yeah, but that's a strong endorsement there from Doublelift, speaking very highly of his new support. And as you mentioned, we would normally expect to see some hesitation in play of the rookies, and didn't necessarily show on stage today. We'll see how that develops throughout the split. I do want to dive into the game, but let's start with the final fight, the way that this game ended, because it was a rather crazy one. I mean, it was a high action game here, but ending up in a Baron fight.
I really wish that we would have seen a mortal reminder from Doublelift, because nearly Vlad carries us at the end. But if we look at this fight in particular, the Bardal just hit a split second too late, which gave TSM small combat advantage coming into this one. and it's really just an all-out brawl. Darshan did not play well this series. He actually had an off MSI as well as in the series, so he dives in too far. CLG's on the retreat, and here's where Huhi nearly turns it around.
Very close.
Yeah, Huhi just heals so much. There was a fight where he's getting like 2,800 HP back, and he just gets these bursts, like 1,000 plus even more, and it's absurd. This is why Vladimir is just such a hugely contested pick right now in the meta, and I definitely recommend sinking 800 gold into Executioner's Calling. Even though they win this fight on the side of TSM, it's still incredibly annoying, and Hauntzer almost goes down here, and even if he did, I still think the game is over at that point, though.
Yeah, Doublelift had been able to lifesteal back up to full health, and there was a wave of super minions coming in the bottom side, so they would have had everyone dead, and they still could have been able to push it in. So.
But that was a good example of how this whole game did kind of teeter on a knife's edge at times. And here's where I want to jump into our second replay. The fight that happened just before this, allowing TSM to open up the map, picking up the inhib on the back end of this. But Afromu, of all people, getting caught out to start this fight.
Yeah, he gets caught out, and then they're pretty much just trying to do damage control here. They use so much on Bjergsen, and then they're not able to reach him on the backline because you see Biofrost's ultimate across that backside allows that choke point to be a slow, and nobody can get through. Huhi throws down the ultimate, gets... I think he gets, yeah, look at that. What? 1,600? Like,
yeah, Biofrost was able to shield. Biofrost was able to shield Bjergsen as well as Doublelift's heal, so they overcommitted onto him right there. And Afromu getting caught out, like that was actually a point in the game where it looked like CLG was going to be able to 1-3-1.
Yeah.
That's how they kind of gotten back into it. The goal is close, and Afromu was God mode up until that point, 4-0-8 on Bard. But he just kind of wandered around a little bit, gets picked off, and the rest of CLG did end up falling apart after that play, and that's why we did not see in a third game.
yeah, and if CLG actually got into stall mode there and they were able to even delay the Baron that happened in that previous replay, then they had 3 Drakes and Elder Dragon was coming up very soon. If you get Ezreal with that, you're poking for 190 true damage every time you Q somebody. So it's insane, and they weren't able to hold off long enough.
Yeah, CLG perhaps in a position to win that game, but small mistakes can net big advantages for the other team. Now I want to kind of look at champion select. So we're backtracking all the way through, but let's look at the Vlad pickup from Huhi. Looking a lot more comfortable on that champion, although still getting pushed in by the aggressiveness of Bjergsen in lane, but definitely a performer on the Vladimir, and then the likes of the Fiora showing up in the top lane. So a little bit of a switch up here for CLG in terms of strategy coming into game 2.
Yeah, I think we saw a couple things that were common threads between game 1 and game 2, and TSM's aggressiveness and mid lane jungle synergy early took CLG by surprise in both games. I mean, CLG put a very high priority on Rek'Sai, ended up doing the upgraded boots rush into Sightstone, and that just couldn't actually keep pace with what Svenskeren was doing. Add that to the fact that Bjergsen was just pushing in Huhi over and over again, and it was a recipe for disaster. TSM got big gold leads in both of the first 2 games.
Yeah, and I think that when you go back and you look at this, you look at what was the worth of that Rek'Sai, because what else were you going to take afterwards, right? It's Elise. At least Rek'Sai are actually pretty comparable in power. Rek'Sai is still 1 notch above, and Rek'Sai is actually really good right now. But compared to what you give up, Echo and Lucian, at that point you're saying like, okay, probably take Echo, because you saw what Hauntzer was able to do with that champion. It fits right into Darshan's play style, and I think that is a missed opportunity there, and that's where CLG started to drop that ball, is that very first pick.
Yeah, champ select-wise, I did like the fact that they go back to the Fiora and Vladimir type of thing. Like, those are champions that can work very well in a 1-3-1, and I think Fiora will have a future, especially when we see some Echo nerfs in the next patch. But what isn't working is just Darshan's performance.
Right.
Even in the later stages of MSI, he wasn't performing that well. And I'm going to give CLG a break here. I'm not going to say, like, Darshan is doomed or CLG is doomed. But he needs to pick up his play because he's known as a top-tier top laner and he just hasn't been playing that way. Hauntzer completely outclassed him in this series.
All right, well, the good news is Jack's buffs and Trinity Force buffs are on their way for the LCS. So Darshan,
Trinity Force changes. Some people will.
I'll call him a buff, especially on Jax. But yeah, so we'll see in the weeks to come. Of course, we do have to hit our player of the game, and it is Darshan's counterpart in the top lane here in Hauntzer. 9-1-7 on that Echo, and the highest damage in the game at building tank. I mean, come on.
He did 900 damage per minute as a tank top lane champion. That's absurd. That's more damage than you see from a damage dealing top lane champion. He's just wailing on everybody in these team fights, and he did such a good job of entering them, but he's already tanky enough that it is kind of, he goes in with reckless abandon and he gets to do what he wants.
Right. I mean, we also saw just his maneuverability on that champion. We were commenting throughout the game. Everyone on TSM was managing to get caught by Bard Qs occasionally here and there, but Hauntzer just has a mastery of that champion, allowing himself to kind of dance through the fights.
He really displayed specifically why Echo was nerfed nerfed in the way he was nerfed in the patch that is on live. The 3-second cooldown and 3-second duration of his passive made him so sticky that really there didn't seem to be much CLG could do with Hanser playing that well.
Yeah, when we saw Vladimir being able to actually get away eventually,
Whoa,
it was like, okay, these are both really powerful champions. If he's able, that's the echo test right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all in all, TSM 2-0 victory to start their season in our best of 3 format. There's more LCS action around the corner, so don't move your mouse. We'll be back after this with our second series of the night between Team Envy and Energy. We'll be right back.